You are watching the Big 12 on ESPN. A couple of thousand fans are here in Lubbock, and they are ready for this game against the Kansas Jayhawks. What a way to open up conference play. And we've got people who just had to find a way into the arena one way or another. So in spirit, Patrick Mahomes is here. Willie Nelson is here. We heard a lot of his music during practice yesterday for the Red Raiders. Coach Knight is in the house. Remember, he used to coach here in Lubbock, and it wouldn't be a Big 12 game, would it, without our own Holly Rowe here in the arena tonight. And Jennifer Aniston is here to watch the game. That's how big this game is. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Lubbock. A couple of guys who have been accused of having the personality of cardboard cutouts here to bring you the game tonight. I'm Dan Schulman, and he is Jay Billis. Texas Tech is good. They've been good for a few years. Lost some good players last year, but they bring in 3 impact transfers to help out Chris Beard's team this year. Mac McClung comes from Georgetown, 14 a game this year. Grad transfer Marcus Santos Silva from VCU, and Jamarius Burton comes from Wichita State. What do you like about the fit, Jay, from McClung here in Lubbock?
Well, Mac McClung is explosive. He can get to the rim and finish above the rim. A big-time dunker, especially off of 2 feet. Very good in transition, and he can shoot it, although lately he has been struggling shooting the ball. 5 of his last 28 in his last 3 games, but much more efficient. His assist-to-turnover ratio much better, and not turning the ball over at all.
The Jayhawks lost their season opener to Gonzaga. They have not lost since, and on any given night, a number of different guys could be their best player. But Jalen Wilson has been maybe their best player overall so far this season.
I don't think there's any question. Jalen Wilson has been outstanding. He's a 6'8" guard that is leading the Jayhawks in both scoring and rebounding. He's their best offensive rebounder. He's a guy that can catch and shoot from 3-point range, made the game winner against Creighton from the right wing. And also, he can get downhill off the drive. When he gets in the slot, you better stay in front of him or he's going to get it all the way to the rim, get fouled, and score.
We are ready to go. Jay and I are perched high above the court, looking down on the 10 players and the 3 officials. Kansas in blue, Texas Tech in white. Kansas leading the all-time matchup 37-6, including a couple of wins in the 2 matchups last year. But the Big 12, a great league this year, the top 5 especially. Look like there are going to be some battles in this league. And we are underway with Kyler Edwards controlling the tip for the Red Raiders. Terrence Shannon Jr., a nice look inside. Edwards kicks it back out. Still plenty of time to shoot.
Kansas, a man-to-man team, and Marcus Garrett, the National Defensive Player of the Year, was on McClung.
And a look at the Kansas lineup right out of the chute. Marcus Garrett, one of the best defensive players. In fact, the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year nationally last year. Christian Brown had a 30-point game earlier against St. Joe's. We just told you about Jalen Wilson. Ochai Agbaji has stepped into a larger role this year. He's at 14 points per game. And then the former McDonald's All-American David McCormick in the middle. Good ball pressure by Garrett. And the shot clock now running down. Shannon's got to make a play. Off the side of the backboard, tries to save it, and he does, but it is turned over. It is out of bounds and turned over to KU.
What a great job by Kansas. So first they iced the ball screen. They kept it on the right side of the floor, and they forced Texas Tech so much further out on the floor that the Red Raiders couldn't get into anything. When they down those ball screens, Texas Tech has got to attack the big guy. They didn't do it. McClung picked up his dribble.
7 games into the season, 5 different Jayhawks have already led the team in scoring. That's how potentially balanced they are. Out of bounds and back to Texas Tech.
Take a look at this defense right here. This is toward the end of the play, but a terrific job converging on the ball. At the start of that play, they were able to keep the ball on the right side of the court by icing or downing that ball screen. That was really the key to the play, and really smart and excellent defense by Kansas. This is a good defensive team that, Dan, they really guard the ball well, so they don't have to help that often.
Yeah, both of these teams are ranked in the top 10 in the nation in adjusted defensive efficiency. And in fact, 5 Big 12 teams are in the top 10 of the nation. So we are expecting a real defensive battle here tonight. How about the job that Chris Beard has done now in 5 years here in Lubbock?
Well, Chris Beard is a great basketball coach. Not a good one, a great one. He's built a winning championship culture here, and he's done it in a very short period of time. He's just a fun coach to be around for players, holds them to a high standard, but the program, I think you'd agree, just has a great feel to it.
It does. Culture is sometimes an overused word, but we sat here yesterday at practice and marveled at it and talked about it. As McClung knocks down the three, there's the Georgetown transfer. Got the immediate waiver October 30th. Now the NCAA announced yesterday everybody's going to get a waiver, but back then it was big news when McClung was deemed to be immediately eligible for the Red Raiders.
But look how difficult that shot was. Texas Tech is going to have to run much better offense against this Kansas defense. The first several times down, they really didn't get the shot they wanted.
Step back jumper for Ochai Agbaji, who Bill Self says, Jay, is ready to step into a really big role for this team this year.
Well, he's been double figures in every game but one. He had a bagel against Creighton, surprising, but did a good job on the glass, and excellent job defensively against Creighton.
Yeah, 13 or more points in each of the other 6 games. McClung baseline, off the glass and good, and he's got an early 5 for the Red Raiders.
Now that's what we were referring to before, Dan. If you get limited to one side, if they're icing any sort of ball screen, you attack the big guy. And that's what McClung did. He went right after McCormick, got by him, and all the way to the rim.
Agbaji for 3, a little bit short. And down to the rebound and bringing it up, Terrence Shannon Jr., the sophomore from Chicago, crashing his way into the paint and called for the offensive foul.
And then take a look at Mac McClung here. He's going to get a ball screen, then he's going to go right after David McCormick and make him guard. Got all the way to the rim. The weak side defense slow getting there, but that's just an excellent job of attacking the big guy. You've got to make McCormick guard.
A couple of subs for Texas Tech, and noticeably limping Terrence Shannon as he goes to the bench for the Red Raiders. And Christian Brown stepped out of bounds. We'll keep an eye on Shannon as he goes out. Remember, he was just called for the charge, and something came up hurting after the play.
Texas Tech runs a lot of motion offense, which means most of their screening and movement is going to be essentially random. They do have plays that they can call when they get into trouble or after a timeout, some actions that they run, but a lot of it's just going to be straight up motion.
McClung feeling it early, left that one short. How much of Chris Beard's offense goes back to his days as an assistant under Bob Knight here?
Quite a bit, except they incorporate far more ball screens. Bob Knight was not a ball screen advocate, but Chris Beard is.
Tyreek Smith with the block, running the floor, and the putback at the other end. Redshirt freshman out of Baton Rouge with good plays at both ends of the court.
Well, he's very athletic and runs the floor hard, and that's what Texas Tech is going to have to do. They've got to get buckets in transition, but they better pick up, because Wilson can really shoot it.
Wilson shooting 38% from 3 on the season. Kansas as a team shooting 40% from three-point range. Agbaji and Brown can really knock it down. We'll step aside for the first media timeout. The Red Raiders with an early 2-point lead. The best of the Big 12 when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and by Capital One. Go to ESPN.com/Bullmania for a chance to win a trip to next year's national championship. That has been, for the most part, ruled by Kansas. 15 regular season championships in the last 16 years. 4 times they have shared it with another program. 11 times they have won it outright. Here are the others to share it, including Kansas State and Texas Tech 2 seasons ago, in the 1 year in the last 16 where Kansas did not earn at least a share of the regular season title. So they got a banner here in Lubbock. They've also, of course, made it to the Final Four. In fact, made it to the national championship game. Made it to overtime of the national championship game a couple of years ago before losing to Virginia. Baylor, the preseason pick to win the Big 12 this year.
And Baylor's the best defensive team in the country, and maybe the best team in the country. Gonzaga's the best offensive team. But how about this, Dan? That Virginia-Texas Tech game, that was the last NCAA tournament game played.
Feels like it was 20 years ago.
How about that?
Yeah. A lot has gone on since then, and hopefully they get to the finish line and we get a great NCAA tournament this year, trying to get games in as often as they can. Agbaji with a quick first step. So it's been McClung at one end for the Red Raiders, and Agbaji with Wilson to the other end for the Jayhawks.
Anytime Abaji's in the corner, you're looking lob. And I think that Texas Tech was worried about taking away the lob. And Abaji just came up to the wing and drove right to the basket. Nobody was able to stop him.
Looks like McClung is handling his first conference game of the Big 12 pretty well so far.
No, he's a big-time player. And I think Chris Beard's challenging of Mac McClung to be a more efficient player, taking better shots, and assist-turnover ratio being better has really resonated with him.
Wilson misses the corner three. McClung told us yesterday that when he met, in quotes, Chris Beard for the first time when he decided to transfer and was considering other programs, of course, this being 2020, they met via Zoom. He didn't actually meet Coach Beard until he arrived on campus later on in the summer. Wide open, Marcus Garrett for three.
Tyreek Smith has really done a nice job in this ball game.
Marius Burton in the game for the Red Raiders. Talked about him in the open. The transfer from Wichita State.
A bad shot. No passes, didn't make the defense move, and that was a challenge three when nobody was there to rebound.
Brown guarded by Edwards.
Good switches by Texas Tech. They were switching up to take something away.
Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, you don't want to switch sideways where you're not taking something away from the offense. That switch took away a drive. He switched up into the ball handler instead of letting the ball handler get into him. That was just a really good play by Kyler Edwards. Now, yeah, that was a little bit before that, but a good job by McClung to come over with active hands to knock that ball away. But there's a lot of switching because these guys are of like size, and it's really a smaller lineup in the game for Kansas. Even though that you got a big guy in Mitch Lightfoot, he's not as big as McCormick.
Nice drive, and banking it in is Garrett. Yeah, there's no Udoka Azubuike in the middle anymore for Kansas. They do have McCormick and Lightfoot, as you mentioned, but we may see moments in this game where both teams effectively, Jay, have 5 perimeter players on the floor. Right?
We're going to see it. It's just a question of for how long.
By the way, I asked Jay, had he been himself now? Basketball's so different now than when you played in the 80s, and you tell me you had stretch 4 written all over you, right?
I would have been a dominant stretch 4. Ivy League Player of the Year.
Abaji with a flush, and Kansas has tied it.
Kansas is picking up its defense. They're staying in front of the ball and communicating much better. Nice job by Lightfoot.
Amari Burnett, number 25 for Texas Tech, the program's first ever McDonald's All-American. He's from Chicago. In off the bench, and the rebound for Garrett. He'll wait for help. Both teams pretty deep, comfortably playing 9, maybe 10 guys at this point of the season. That's Bryce Thompson, the freshman, might have gotten away with a little bit of a shove with the left arm. Lightfoot with the left hand doesn't get the bounce. Raiders ball.
Jalen Wilson right there for an offensive rebound. He does a great job going to the offensive glass.
Edwards trying to go all the way, and a foul on the floor.
Well, Marcus Garrett is the best steals guy on this Kansas team, but Ochai Agbaji not far off. Ball was knocked away, and Agbaji winds up being the beneficiary of a terrific job defensively to take away that basket cut by Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is an excellent cutting team. A lot of back cuts, and Kansas was very alert to that cut right there.
Agbaji averaging 14 points per game, shooting 46% from three-point range. Remember when they decided not to use the red shirt a couple of years ago, he started playing mid-season, Jay, and right off the bat, he played very well, and he's always kind of had the look of a guy who looks like he could turn into a star.
It was sort of like Jalen Wilson this year. They didn't expect it that early from Ochai Agbaji, just like they didn't expect it this early from Jalen Wilson. But boy, it is nice when you're pleasantly surprised by a player. Kansas has done a pretty good job of playing defense so far without fouling, because Texas Tech shoots a ton of free throws, and Kansas cannot allow that. You got to be disciplined and not foul.
Terrence Shannon with the three to put Texas Tech back on top.
Big fan of Terrence Shannon. He's going to be an NBA player someday. Good pass.
DeJuan Harris finds Mitch Lightfoot for the bucket. Harris coming in off the bench. Redshirt freshman from Columbia, Missouri. Had to get his academics in order last year. Practiced with the team second semester. He's had a couple of games this year already, Jay, off the bench with 5 assists.
Yeah, pass first point guard. That was a terrific pass. Now got a switch, and Santos Silva had a very favorable matchup. Now they've switched back.
Burnett discards the defender, misses the 8-footer, and Abachi has it. But we have a whistle and a foul to take us to the under 12 media timeout. 1 point lead, two of the best teams in the Big 12. The question out of the break is the Big 12 the best league in the nation? We'll discuss. Point lead on Kansas. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis here at United Supermarkets Arena. We talked about the strength of the Big 12, especially up at the top half of the league. 5 programs in the Big 12 are ranked in the top 14 in the nation. In the Big 10, 7 teams are ranked in the top 25. Which league do you think is, quote, better?
I think overall it's the Big 10. Now the Big 12 is the best league in the country that only has 10 teams. But I think it's the Big 10 just by a hair. But I mean, you're talking about 2 incredibly well-coached teams. Really poor possession there on the out-of-bounds under by Texas Tech. McClung just went into trouble and threw the ball away. And that's something that they've worked really hard to get away from. His assist-to-turnover ratio is really good here at Texas Tech, about 3-1.
Thompson lob it inside, and a good play by Santos Silva to deflect it out of bounds.
He broke contact and got around in front. And Mitch Lightfoot just couldn't hold that position because he had the angle to the basket. That ball's just got to be thrown up to the square. You throw it up to the square, the defense can't get it.
Garrett to inbound it for Kansas. Lightfoot in off the bench for McCormick.
Good switch by Silva, Santos Silva.
Really switching 1 through 5, right?
Everybody's
switching.
And they're switching so aggressively.
Garrett with the shot clock running down and misses the 3.
I mean, when was the last time that Kansas got the shot they were looking for? Haven't grabbed an offensive rebound because they're all scrambling around because of the Texas Tech defense.
McClung somehow gets out of the double team, and it'll be a jam for Micah Peavy. You can see Bill Self saying should have been a held ball. He was waiting for the whistle.
Yeah, I thought it was a tie-up, but what a difference for McClung. So much stronger with the ball, able to deliver it to Santos Silva, and that was a great cut and pass.
Garrett is fouled. Brown doesn't like that call. Let's go back down to the other end and look at the replay.
McClung much stronger with the ball. When the double team comes at him, he just wouldn't let it get tied up and got rid of it to Santos Silva. And just a fantastic cut by Micah Peavy. And Peavy is a bouncy stud athlete. I mean, I think he's their best pro prospect. He is fantastic. He's going to be a great player.
Coming up Saturday on ESPN2, we got a great college basketball doubleheader for you. Mr. Billis and I, speaking of the Big Ten, will be up in the Big Ten country. They have rescheduled that ACC Big Ten game between Louisville and Wisconsin, and we'll be in Madison to bring it to you Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN2. And then Purdue taking on Notre Dame in the Crossroads Classic. That comes your way at 2:30 Eastern Time, also on ESPN2.
Wisconsin has to have the oldest starting lineup in America. I mean, I think 2 of Greg Gard's starters got their driver's license before he did.
We actually were talking about it before the game. They've got a couple of 24-year-olds on the team.
24-year-olds. Good job by McClung to snake that ball screen. And kept to the right side of the floor, now taking on the big guy.
And the big guy won, altered the shot, and back come the Jayhawks. Wilson baseline.
Good pass.
Garrett, wide open 3. Well short. First offensive rebound of the night for the Jayhawks. Extra pass to Thompson. As Harris gave it up, and Kansas misses a couple of good looks at a 3.
Best 3 you can get, just missed it. But one of the first offensive rebound opportunities Kansas has had in this game. And Kansas has a good rebounding team.
Santos Silva not going to shoot it from out there. Edwards from 16, a little bit strong, tipped back out. Hustle play by Edwards, but it's into the hands of Garrett.
That was a smart shot by Edwards because McCormick's in drop coverage. He is playing basically a safety position and not connected on those ball screens.
Edwards thought he had a clean block, but we got a foul call going against the Red Raiders. It's not on him. It'll go on Santos Silva.
You know, if I were Chris Beard, one, I'd ask for more money. But after that, I would put David McCormick in ball screen situations on every play. I think that's going to be Texas Tech's best opportunity to get the shot they want on the offensive end.
Careful when diving into the Taco Bell app. You might get lost in something crunchy, cheesy, and delicious, like a free $5 Chalupa Cravings box, available for a limited time when you sign up as a new rewards member. Sign up and discover more in the Taco Bell app.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If a player misses a free throw during that Taco Bell commercial, is it the Chalupa jinx? Because it's always the announcer jinx.
Yeah. Well, if you copyright it by the end of the night, it could be. Good work underneath by Smith, but a rejection there by McCormick. Wilson with the ball. We told you what a start he's off to this year. 15 and 9, basically his numbers. 15.3 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game. For a guy who broke his ankle in the second game of the season last year for Kansas. That's why he was a medical redshirt, but came in, Jay, as a top 50 recruit.
Yeah, broke that ankle, if I remember right, against UNC Greensboro. And boy, just a really good job by Kansas defending the ball on those ball screens, keeping it to one side. And I thought Burton got fouled there. That should have been called because McCormick brought his hands down. You're supposed to be straight up. That's usually an automatic call with the shooters protected.
Garrett trying to shake his defender, lobs it up for McCormick. Kansas by 3.
Marcus Garrett is such a good passer and really does a good job running the team. I think his breakout where everybody knew, he can play point, he can run this team, was last year when Devon Dotson was hurt and they were on the road playing in Norman against Oklahoma. He ran the point and Kansas got a win that a lot of people didn't think they could get. And Garrett was fantastic running the point.
Again, also as good a defensive player as there is in the country. Meanwhile, the Red Raiders have gone cold here as this game moves along. Kansas now leading by 3.
Kansas is so good defensively because they guard the ball as well as anybody.
And McCormick called for the offensive foul. It'll be Red Raider ball when we come back.
Just a little push-off by McCormick, but he did a great job on the last possession of getting inside position. And there's no way that any guard like Burton is going to drop down from the weak side and take that away. That's playing above the rim, Dan Shulman.
We're up in the rafters. This is our view, our socially distanced view here in Lubbock. And then they got these fancy little cameras right in front of us. Sometimes they tell us before they're going to put us on cameras.
But usually not. I think the co-pilot of a blimp at a football game has a closer view than we've got. Now, their COVID protocols, we are not complaining. It's great to be here. But I'll tell you what, I've not been... Bill Walton's never been this hot.
Boy, and I thought the Chalupa line would be your best of the night. You're peaking early, Jay. Well, good defense there by the Jayhawks, and they will force the turnover.
And really good defense by Harris. DeJuan Harris got switched off onto Marcus Santos Silva, and he just got in front of him and sat down on his legs. He's smaller, he used his leverage, and dared Texas Tech to try to throw over the top. That's really good post defense by a guard. You don't see that all that often. Tough place for a guard to get stuck.
And when Harris is in there, Garrett can play off the ball a little bit. He's asked to do so many things for the Jayhawks. And now we see that smaller lineup, right? The 5 perimeter guys out there for Kansas. A turnover. McClung in transition gets it to go, and he's into double figures with 11.
And got fouled. But what a great job by Damari Burnett to get in front of the ball handler. Really jumped out almost in the direction of half court to take away the dribbler's path. That was big time.
Wilson called for the offensive foul, and that'll be number 2 on Jalen Wilson.
That's a terrible call. Not bad, terrible. But what a great job. Look at this. There's no way that's ridiculously bad. If anybody falls down in these games, they just give them a charge. That's just awful.
And that's what Bill Self is saying right now, and it's going to take Wilson out of the game, likely for the last 6:19 of the first half. So their leading scorer and rebounder has gone to the bench. And we see into the game Tyon Grant Foster, number 1 for Kansas, a junior college transfer, an honorable mention All-American last year.
Yeah, went to Indian Hills Community College. Best athlete on this Kansas roster.
McClung, maybe the best athlete on either roster, misses the reverse, and we got a call going against the Red Raiders.
Well, you'd better go to the basket strong and expect contact, because there is contact. Every time McClung's gone to the rim, he has faced body after body.
What are the Red Raiders, what's Chris Beard and the coaching staff working on with McClung to get everything they can out of him?
Mostly efficiency, that he's been a great teammate. He works hard and he wants to please. And he's got a ton of ability. Big-time scorer, big-time athlete. But they're working on his assist-turnover ratio and his shot selection, taking better shots, and he's really done a terrific job. It's getting better and better.
And Kansas now starting to get more and more offensive rebounds.
They're getting better initial shots. Good shot fake.
Abaji and draws the foul. Abaji can hurt you from three. He can also really hurt you with the shot fake and the drive.
Yes, and I think this is a very good driving team in Kansas. They get downhill, but they do a lot of it off a shot fake. You know, they'll get into weave action. They've got this little 4 game they play. They do play some 5 out, as you mentioned. But when they catch it, if they catch it ready to shoot, looking at the basket, when you give a shot fake, the defense is going to react to that. And then it's going to open up your drive.
How much fun is this league going to be, you know, when one of these teams plays Baylor or West Virginia or Texas or, you know what, and the other teams we haven't mentioned, they're dangerous too.
It is a great league, as is the Big Ten. I mean, we just saw a little drop-in for Illinois Rutgers. And Rutgers is a team that hasn't been talked about enough nationally. Rutgers is legit. I mean, they are really good. Ron Harper Jr. is an excellent scorer. Geo Baker, Miles Johnson gobbles up just about every rebound. You know, Jacob Young is a really good player. They're very, very good.
Dan Schulman, Jay Billis here in Lubbock, Texas. Conference opener. Kansas has won 29 consecutive conference openers. 1991, the last time they lost their first game in conference play. They're up by 2 here in the first half. And the foul going against Harris.
Harris did a great job again in guarding Peavy. It's just when Peavy went a little further out, that's when he needed to readjust, and then he could get behind him. Once he's a step or 2 off the lane, then you don't need to front him anymore, and that's where the foul came from.
And that's the 7th, so that will send Peavy to the line for 1-1 for the Red Raiders.
But really, for Kansas, keeping Texas Tech off the line and out of the 1-1 for that length of time is pretty darn good, because you know, Texas Tech is one of the highest volume free throw shooting teams in the country. They score a ton of their points from the line.
And it remains the most efficient way to score, right? The best offense you can run.
No question. You get fouled on every possession. That's the best offense you could possibly have. Dean Smith said that in his great book, Multiple Offense and Defense, written in the 80s.
Garrett with an 18-footer well short. And it belongs to the Red Raiders.
Not a good possession for Kansas because of the really good Texas Tech defense. That was not the shot that Bill Self wanted.
It's a guards game right now, isn't it? Look at the 10 guys on the floor. Really, perimeter players, all of them.
Can switch everything. So they got to make sure, Kansas has to make sure they send all 5 guys to the defensive glass.
Shot clock at 4, McClung. Into lots of traffic and does draw the foul.
Yeah, good call. Marcus Garrett was there with his body, but brought that left arm down. Now watch his left arm as Mac McClung goes right into his body. Left arm down and rakes right across his arms.
So Garrett the foul, his first. McClung at the line. Did not shoot the ball well his last couple of games, but off to a fast start. That's his 12th point already here tonight. And as we mentioned, the scoring down, the shooting not good the last couple of games, but in their last game, he did have 6 assists, no turnovers, 3 steals. He can help you a lot of different ways.
Yeah, that was against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And McClung, I think, is playing really well in this game because he's been really aggressive attacking off the dribble, not settling for jump shots.
Tristan Enaruna as Kansas breaks the pressure, and Grant Foster with a bucket.
Nice job breaking the pressure to score, not just breaking it to get across half court. You have to attack pressure at the point it's applied. And when you aggressively attack that pressure, you can get layups.
Shannon guarded by Enaruna, going to try to back him down, spins, and draws the foul.
And what a great drop step by Terrence Shannon Jr.
3:45 to go in a tight one as we expected. Kansas leading by 2, and we got all kinds of talent on both sides. Ochai Agbaji having a good first half for the Jayhawks. Mac McClung, that and more for the Red Raiders.
State of Florida basketball. John, we're watching Kansas change the narrative somewhat here.
Yeah, you know, after game one, everybody was ready to say, oh, this team's not good defensively. You know, Garrett's great, but there are some, no. Really good defensive effort so far. They've been disciplined in their half court.
They're not playing Gonzaga, but think about Texas Tech the last 3 years. Big 12 champs, Elite 8, championship game, 2 first-round draft choices. It's amazing what Chris Beard's done in Lubbock.
Phenomenal job, Dan and Jay.
He really has, Kevin, and they look like a very deep and dangerous team again this year, as do the Jayhawks. KU ranked number 5 and Texas Tech ranked 14th, and you got Baylor and Texas and West Virginia all highly ranked as well. How about the Mountaineers when they make shots? How good are they?
That game they had against Richmond, the way they shot the ball, if the Mountaineers continue to shoot it at that level, that's asking a lot, obviously. But with their defense, their ability to rebound, they're Final Four. Final Four. I mean, that was a fantastic performance at both ends of the floor by West Virginia.
And mark it down, Tuesday night, the next game for Kansas, they are home to West Virginia. It'll be 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central on ESPN2 Tuesday night from Allen Fieldhouse. Going to be fun.
I got to call my agent so I can get a cardboard cutout. I want to be at that game.
Again, no real big guys in the game. McCormick's got 2 fouls. Santos Silva's got 2 fouls. You got 10 guards on the floor right now. The drive by Garrett has it knocked away. It stays with Kansas, but just 2 on the shot clock.
That was just a little horn set at the end of the shot clock where they clear out one elbow and let Marcus Garrett drive that open elbow. But it just materialized too late. And it was a terrific play by Kyler Edwards, knocked that away. Otherwise, that could have been a bucket.
Got to get a shot off.
He doesn't know the time.
Oh boy, that is not going to make his coach happy.
You know, that's Anaruna's fault, but it's also everybody else's fault. You got to call that out and echo those commands. You know, so Anaruna needed to know that, but everybody else needed to call it out. Because I got a good idea he's not the only one that didn't know it.
Yeah. So Kansas turns it back over, and the Red Raiders are looking for the lead here late in the first half. Burton handling right now.
Much better movement in the last 5 minutes on the offensive end by Texas Tech. They're moving the defense.
Shannon way off on the jumper. It grazed the rim, and a fresh 20 now for the Red Raiders. Burton shovel pass out for Edwards. Boy, that's a pretty good look. Garrett with some space, can't take advantage. He'll pull it back out, give it to Brown. Spelled like Braun, pronounced like Brown. Offensive foul, no matter how you slice it.
Texas Tech is doing a really nice job switching. Now, these are the kind of charges that officials should be rewarding defenders for. That's a charge that was on the ball. You know, when you come over for the weak side and slide under, those are a joke. But this is a great charge. It's a great call and great defense by Texas Tech.
Burton just slowly but surely trying to back his way into the paint, get a shot off here. Can't do it, and eventually he turns it over.
They got offensive foul on him for leaning in and just dislodging Marcus Garrett. That was just too slow to materialize. If he'd made a post move on the other side of the floor, once he got in the lane, that's just not going to happen.
McClung back into the game for the Red Raiders. He has 12 of their 21. Everybody getting a touch. Thompson, a little bit strong off the back of the iron, but he does draw the foul.
Oftentimes it's difficult to drive the direction from which the pass came, but Thompson able to do it anyway and pick up the foul.
Saturday on ABC, 3 college football conference championship games at noon Eastern. Big 12 championship, Oklahoma and Iowa State. At 4 o'clock Eastern, a rematch, Clemson and Notre Dame, this time for the ACC championship. And then Tulsa taking on undefeated Cincinnati at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the American title game. Your thoughts, Mr. Billis, on the football situation?
I think they need to change the college football playoff name to the College Football Invitational. because that's what it is. The college football playoff rankings made absolutely no sense. None. How Iowa State is allowed to lose to Louisiana by over 2 touchdowns in the first game of the year, and they're still ranked number 6, is embarrassing. And what happens if Clemson gets clipped again by Notre Dame?
And they're a 2-loss team.
They're going to put them in. Like, when you have two chances at it, and one of them's on a neutral field, when would somebody say, well, you had your chance?
First time without Trevor Lawrence, of course. They've got him back for this one. And Harris called for the offensive foul. Texas
Tech's defense has been really good. It's just you got to come to a jump stop there. You're not gonna leave the floor on this and get that. You're not gonna leave the floor to pass. That's just not. You got to come to a jump stop. That's got to be a stop sign once you get into the lane.
Well done saying leave the floor, not leave your feet.
Yes, you cannot leave your feet because every time you leave the floor, your feet go with you.
Yes.
And otherwise, it would be quite gruesome.
Shannon, no. Both teams have gone cold. We expected a defensive struggle with the defensive numbers these teams have put up in the early going. Abachi with a good look. Harris with the assist. Kansas extends the lead.
Boy, how about Harris and his guts? You take the ball into the lane and get a charge on the last play, but you're not deterred on the next play.
Burton trying to find some space inside, and he does. Burnett rather. Amari Burnett, the freshman from Chicago, with a much-needed bucket for the Red Raiders.
Playing a little bully ball. He went to Morgan Park, started his high school career at Morgan Park High School in Chicago. He was a teammate of Ayo Dosunmu.
One of the best players in the country. The standout from Illinois. Burnett now with a foul.
Actually, Burnett's freshman year at Morgan Park, Dosunmu was hurt, and he wound up being the MVP of the state tournament. I think he had 26 in the championship game, and Morgan Park wound up winning the state title. Really strong move here against the smaller DeJuan Harris. Just took him down into the post and bullied him.
They're trying to pick on Harris a little bit down low in this game as the front end goes down for Abachi. Good minutes off the bench, though, for Harris for Kansas.
Same thing with Bryce Thompson's come in, done a nice job.
And Aruna in off the bench for the last several minutes as well. Timeout on the floor. We are back in 30 seconds. Kansas on the road, leading by 6.
Get your last-minute gifts now at Dick's Sporting Goods. 25% off fleece for the family. Choose all the best styles from Hydro Flask and Yeti. Select tour golf balls $39.99 or get them a gift card. Shop in store or online and pick up curbside. Every holiday starts at Dick's.
Your ring should shine the same way you do. Shop exclusive styles from our collections, including Vera Wang Love, Enchanted Disney, Endless Brilliance, and so much more. Shop online with a virtual consultant, exclusively at Zales, the Diamond Store.
Lubbock, Texas. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis. Conference opener here in a Big 12 country for the Jayhawks and the Red Raiders. It was Texas Tech in the early going. Jay, why has Kansas turned this game around?
Well, they've done a really good job defensively. They went to that smaller lineup, and I think we've talked about it. They do such a good job of staying in front of the ball, and they rally to the ball. The best defenses don't have to help as much because they guard the ball so well, stay in front of it. Texas Tech has had to go away from ball screen action because Kansas has done such a good job of icing it or downing it and keeping it to one side of the floor.
Red Raiders basically can run it right down to the final couple of seconds and try to get a good look here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, if you take it down to the end of the shot clock, you'll still have a little bit of time for a tip in, but not enough time for Kansas to go the other way.
Clearly the message from Chris Beard coming out of the timeout. Now they got to get something going. It'll be Shannon for 3. What a shot.
Not known as a three-point shooter, but that was a confident thing. They gave him a lot of space. They played him as a driver, and Terrence Shannon Jr. took advantage of it. The lefty has really been working on that shot. But you can see that Bryce Thompson playing off him, playing him for the drive. And just a tiny little step back to give him the room to get that shot off. Look how he held the follow through. Really nicely done by Terrence Shannon Jr.
Only had 2 threes on the season coming into the game tonight. He's got 2 in this game, helping to offset to a certain extent, Jay, what Ochai Agbaji has done for the Jayhawks. 4 for 5, 12 points on the night.
He's played like a veteran, hasn't he? Yeah, he's been out in transition a little bit, putting the ball on the deck. Nice little step back going behind his back. He's in such a good mid-range player, and then attacking off the reversal. And then we saw this earlier, just out in front of everybody. When you always work to get 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s. When you get 1-on-0, there's no better offense than that.
Not even the Chalupa Jinx can get you with a 1-on-0, right? And very good numbers for Agbaji, who, as we mentioned, is off to a terrific start. The Jayhawks have 4 players averaging in double figures, and Marcus Garrett isn't one of them. He's not shooting the ball well. He's happy to distribute, and other guys are picking up the slack offensively right now for the Jayhawks.
Well, Bill Self doesn't ask him to do very much. Just guard the opponent's best player for 40 minutes, run the team, all that stuff, and then if you can, and then we need you to score on top of it.
Load the bus and get us home safely at the end of the game. He is a heck of a player. Harris. Garrett into the paint with a runner. It won't go, and that'll bring the first half to a close here in Lubbock. In the conference opener for the Jayhawks and the Red Raiders, with Kansas leading by 3. Time now for the halftime report, along with Seth Greenberg and Sean Farnham. Here's Eli. It was close throughout. Neither team had a run greater than 6-0. We told you Garrett's got to do so much for the Jayhawks, but still struggling with his shot. 1 for 7. And Chris Beard knew his team needed to get some points off turnovers. They only got 2 off turnovers in the first half. Welcome back to United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, Texas. I'm Dan Schulman. Way over there is Jay Billis. What'd you think of the first half?
Both teams played so hard, and both teams went small for a good part of that first half, so they were switching everything. I think the truth is, if they're going to switch and they're both good defensive teams, both teams have to do a better job of setting up their cuts and then cutting hard, back cutting, and making sure they deliver those passes. And Kansas going inside on the first play to McCormack. He got inside position and then was able to keep Santos Silva in front and hold him off. Really good pass over the top by Christian Brown for the score and the foul.
And it's the 3rd on Santos Silva. And at his roots, Jay, as you well know, Bill Self loves nothing more than throwing the ball inside to the big guy when he's got the right guy in there.
Although he is changing a little bit. They used to play 2 big guys. They ran a lot of high-low. And he's starting to look at this, small lineup, playing 5 out, and it's looking a heck of a lot more attractive for longer stretches.
And he started going 4 around 1 when Azubuike and McCormack, it just wasn't working together when they were both on the team. And now this year, as you say, even some 5 out, which we have seen from both teams here tonight.
Well, McCormack was, according to Bill Self, Kansas' best player in the preseason. But they thought he was going to be an 18-10 guy. He may still be, especially if he's this active. And he's looking for the early post, and that was a fluid post move that he went into right away. That right-hand jump hook over the left shoulder.
He's got 5 points in the first minute of the second half. The answer for McClung. A little bit slow to get up.
And Christian Brown with a bad foul there. You want to put a little bit of pressure on that shot, but you cannot make contact and foul a 3-point shooter.
So McClung with a chance for a 4-point play as he heads to the free throw line. He's already got 16 on the night, more than a half of the Red Raiders' points.
And most people know he started his career at Georgetown, but talking to him yesterday, we asked him, if you didn't go to Georgetown, where would you have wound up? And he said, I would have gone to Rutgers. How about that? He's from Virginia. And man, he has hops.
And boy, was he happy with how he was embraced. He didn't know any of the players here in Lubbock, had never played with or against any of them, but said they embraced him right away. Brown, who's shooting the ball very well this year, misses the 3.
McCormack is a good passer out of the post. That was an excellent pass. And right now, Kansas running better offense, having McCormack on the floor and going back 4 around 1.
And a foul committed by Terrence Shannon in transition.
And the fans don't like it because Brown went right into Shannon. But Shannon didn't have legal guarding position. He's allowed to go wherever he wants. That's not an offensive foul. That's a foul on the defense. Brown is allowed to go wherever he wants because Shannon did not have legal guarding position.
Brown stepping up into a much larger role. Actually started getting more minutes in the second half of last season. It became a full-time starter this year. And as we mentioned, had a huge night against St. Joe's a couple of weeks ago. 30 points. Turnaround McCormick, who's feeling it here in the second half. Weak side rebound, Santos Silva.
Now McCormick can make that shot, but he had Micah Peavy switched off on him. He needed to power that to the rim.
Look at McClung. Everything but the finish as he draws the foul.
Got a nice step-up screen, essentially in transition, and went right after McCormick. Went right into his body. Little step up by Santos Silva. Didn't even get much contact. Just wasn't well guarded by Abaji from the beginning. And McClung knows, hey, as soon as you get past that screen, attack the big. And that's exactly what he did.
Everybody picks on the big, don't they?
It's totally unfair. Big guys do not get enough credit and get way too much blame. Kind of like analysts.
Well, that's a whole different story, actually. And look at McClung, 18 of the 31 points for the Red Raiders. Santos Silva's gone to the bench with 3 fouls. Tyreek Smith has come back in, the redshirt freshman from Baton Rouge, and he did some nice things off the bench in the first half. Had a great sequence with a block at one end and a putback at the other in one 15-second flurry. The fans, and yes, about 3,000 fans here, right back into it with a home team back within 2. Right inside again for McCormick, and a turnover.
McCormick's got to be stronger. That's excellent defense.
And Burton, yeah, gets called for the double dribble.
But Kansas went into a little set where they ultimately get high-low, and then McCormick got a great angle to the basket. But it was pretty well defended after the ball went inside by Texas Tech. But McCormick's just got to be stronger and power that to the rim.
Lightfoot into the game now for Kansas. Can't come up with a loose ball on the offensive rebound, and back come the Red Raiders, led by McClung. Well, he does a good job not getting tied up.
Garrett's so good, he just makes you pick up your dribble in bad spots.
McClung for 3. Look at the rebound by Smith. Back up and in.
Smith just overpowered Jalen Wilson. Just overpowered him.
It has been a pretty quiet night for Jalen Wilson at the other end, just 5 points. Tyreek Smith hasn't played a lot, but it's been noisy minutes for him.
Well, he's 6'7", the freshman out of Baton Rouge. Just goes right to the rim, goes right past Jalen Wilson, just overpowers him to the rim. That's just a big-time play, and nobody stepped in front of Tyreek Smith, who really crashed the glass. Talk about a crasher, man.
That is the 6th offensive rebound for the Red Raiders, Jay, and they've turned those into 10 second chance points.
Yeah, they call that the crash club. They want to get 14 offensive rebounds or more per game.
Boy, you can hear the crowd oohing and eyeing as they get to know more and more about their newcomer, Mac McClung.
Never hear a crowd do anything, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, first time for you being in an arena with fans this year, right?
Yes.
I mean, other than people who are fans of you. Another offensive rebound. This time it's Micah Peavy.
Boy, how about Chris Beard's reaction to that? Peavy just stronger than every Jayhawk in the area.
The offensive glass has been a big area of success tonight for the Red Raiders. And look at Micah Peavy flying in there for the rebound and the putback. And look at Chris Beard. He loves effort and hustle plays, doesn't he?
Well, Micah Peavy, nobody from Kansas turned to block out. Everybody just turned and looked at the ball, and Micah Peavy took advantage of it. I mean, that was a big-time crash of the offensive glass. That's how you become president of the Crash Club at Texas Tech. Look at those second chance points. 7 offensive rebounds, 12 second chance points. Kansas is not getting scoring from Christian Brown, not getting scoring from Jalen Wilson, yet they're only down a couple.
And a turnover, miscommunication between Wilson and Brown.
And that's on Jalen Wilson. I mean, that Brown is supposed to cut off that, and then you bring up a player from the corner. It's just a corner up action, and Wilson needs to know that. You look at the backdoor cut, and then you hit the wing.
They might look for Peavy again. Now Kansas switch. They had Grant Foster on Peavy, who's given up a lot of size. Garrett's on him now. Instead it'll be Edwards. And it is out of bounds. Still belongs to the Red Raiders. Under 16 media timeout. Texas Tech by 2. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by some not so good. 6 top 10 teams have been upset by unranked opponents, including the Dons over Virginia. How about Luka Garza? What are you going to do to stop the guy? Ridiculous numbers so far. And congratulations to Tara Vanderveer passing Pat Summitt for the most wins in women's D1 history.
Well, Tara Vanderveer, one of the not only the great coaches in the game's history, one of the great people, as was Pat Summitt. And just wonderful to see Tara get that win and get to 1,099. But your question about Luka Garza, how do you stop him? It's easy. You play box and one, but you put the box on Garza.
That would be revolutionary.
Jimmy Patsos tried it with Steph Curry.
That's right. I mean, Garza's had 30 points in the first half twice, hasn't he? What a great spin move by Peavy and an equally good recovery there by Tyon Grant Foster.
Well, we mentioned Grant Foster's the best athlete. Look at that recovery to knock that ball away. And he's really the top shot blocker for Kansas because of that great athleticism. But the offensive glass, Texas Tech is going after the offensive glass like sharks to blood in the water. And they smell it and are finding that there are points there, and they're going after it.
Micah Peavy ranked the number 32 incoming prospect in the nation by ESPN, and you said earlier you think he's their best pro prospect. He looks like a player, doesn't
he? He is a player. And the question for Kansas is, I mean, it's a 4-point game, and they've not played well. But are they going to put a body on somebody? I mean, this is really about their toughness, both physical and mental. Are they going to turn and put a body on somebody and rebound?
McClung tripped on the drive. Grant Foster will get called for the foul.
Now let's take a look at this last play from the inbounds. Ball comes in, shot goes up, and it is open season on the offensive glass. And Micah Peavy was the inbound man. But still, nobody put a body on him. There weren't all 5 Jayhawks on the defensive glass.
Played for his dad in high school, won a state championship a couple of years ago, and former Red Raider Jemias Ramsey was a high school teammate of his. McClung, in and out. The freshman Thompson pulls up at the elbow and not close. McClung with the save, bouncing it out of bounds off Abaji.
Yeah, the only doubt there was whether it might have hit McClung when he was there by that photographer, but a great play. Ball came right back toward McClung. I don't know, it hit the photographer. What a play by McClung. Oh, it hit him.
Hit his foot. That actually should be Kansas ball, right?
Yeah, I thought it hit him, but I wasn't sure. But you couldn't see. We're only 800 feet away. If we're inside of 700 feet, I'll make that call every time.
Absolutely. That's what people have always said about you. Among other things. Peavy off to a great start here in the second half. McClung for 3. And another offensive rebound for Peavy. Can't finish, and now Kansas has it.
He's Moses Malone in there.
Well, Bill Self cannot be happy. It's one thing to lose if you don't shoot well, but to get outworked with the other team just clobbering you on the offensive glass. Now a turnover.
A great steal by Burnett.
Good hands by Garrett to slap it away. And now a challenge at the rim, but a foul call against the Jayhawks.
Kansas is not strong with the ball. When they're getting pressure, they're just pitching the ball away. And you give great credit. It's excellent defense by Texas Tech. But from Kansas's perspective, they're going to watch this film saying, what are you doing? You're just throwing it away. You're just pitching it up for grabs. Now, the film session will be much more pleasant on the Texas Tech side on that, saying, great defense, great steal.
Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is an absolute must-have for Big 12 fans. Among the games you will see, Oklahoma State, Cade Cunningham against these Red Raiders. Kansas and Oklahoma State as well. A total of 19 men's basketball conference games. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now. Well, we mentioned how good these teams are defensively. 5 of the top 9 in the nation, according to KenPom's adjusted defensive efficiency, come from this league. Expect a lot of games in the 50s and 60s between these teams.
And I think the best defensive team is Baylor. We've talked about that. They've got the best defensive backcourt. And I don't think it's close. Almost an offensive foul by Garrett.
He finds Abaji, who knocks down a 3, and boy, did Kansas need that.
Got into the paint. And then Abaji's really a guy you can't get caught in no man's land on. I mean, if you're going to go double team the ball, great. But otherwise, you've got to be close enough where you don't have to close out. He's too good of a shooter. And he's really been the only offense that Kansas has had.
Yeah, he's got 15. No other Jayhawk has more than 7. Same for the Red Raiders. McClung's got 19. And no other Red Raider has more than 7.
Well, Mark Burnett has played so well in the defensive end. That just wasn't a good shot. It's a shot he can make, but just not a good one.
Wilson well short on the 3. Kansas now 3 for 14 from three-point range.
Yeah, but it's the quality of shot they're taking, Dan. I mean, that was off of one pass. They didn't make the defense do anything.
Boy, now Shannon just kind of lowers the shoulder, gets into the paint, and the Red Raiders, they're the aggressors right now.
Yeah, and they did that more in transition. But Bill Self can't be pleased at all with the shot selection of his team. You know, they came out early in the second half, got the ball. He's wearing out Wilson on that shot. But they got the ball inside on the first few possessions. That's the best their offense has looked.
Strong drive and a finish by Shannon, and a chance for 3.
Tristan and Aruna just gave up baseline and got bullied by Shannon. Just a simple rip through. Thompson's got to stay there and help. You know, you can't chase there. You got to stay there and help and cut off that baseline, because that was about as easy a drive as you're going to get. Had the angle, got the contact, and still finished. Look how he didn't take his eyes off the rim until after that ball went through the net. You know, your eyes make layups, and he kept his eyes on the rim that entire time. That was big time.
A member of the Big 12 all-freshman team a year ago, the lefty at the line. Misses the free throw.
That's a play. You know, Shannon made a lot of great plays last year, but that's a difference this year. He's really attacking downhill more than he did last year. Just a straight line drive. That was a big time play.
And Aruna went to the bench. Now Garrett on the drive and lays it in.
I thought Kyler Edwards was almost there for a charge. Another job where he had legal guarding position, maintained it. I like the no call, but he could have gotten an offensive foul call.
Tough catch by Edwards, down to the post, double team.
Boy, how about Marcus Garrett on that pass out, not going for the shot fake of McClung.
How about that shot? Shannon just had to force it up and got it to go.
And did it through contact.
And Terrence Shannon now into double figures. The Red Raiders lead by 3.
And as well as Texas Tech is playing, they're just up by a possession. And as poorly as Kansas is playing.
Harris trying to thread the needle, and he couldn't do it.
Leaving the floor to pass and going the opposite direction that you're trying to lay it off. Just not a good play by Harris.
McClung. And he's fouled on the three-point attempt. And will be at the line when we come back. So McClung's had a great night, but he's got one of his buddies stepping up here in the second half. Terrence Shannon with some big moments, and the home team has the lead. And with us in spirit, 2 of our favorite people. Maria Taylor, who turned pro. So she's covering the NBA, of course, not college basketball anymore. Holly Rowe, who in normal times would be with us here in this arena. And we wish she were, but great to see them represented here in the arena.
Yeah, Maria Taylor slouching in her seat. Sit up straight. My goodness. It's kind of nice doing a game where you can stand up as like Lewis Riddick.
We have space up here. You're just bitter because Maria referred to us as bald guy number 1 and bald guy number 2, and you were bald guy number 2.
I'm lucky I wasn't bald guy number 8.
J-Lo's here too.
She looks angry. J-Lo apparently wants Kansas to rebound.
Bill Self wants Kansas to rebound. 2 of 3 from the line for McClung. He's got 21. Texas Tech by 5.
21 a season high. I think he had 20 against Northwestern State. He had 38 in the game when he was at Georgetown.
Brown scoops it up, misses wide left.
Much better drive, just not the finish.
Santos Silva and McCormick both back into the game. Santos Silva no, and McCormick down with a rebound.
Now, Kansas is probably a little bit better defensively in this game, going small, but they are not better offensively. McCormick's going to give more of a chance to draw some attention inside, which will open up some drives and some perimeter shots.
McCormick, a 15-footer not there, and Peavy down with another rebound.
A great block out by Kyler Edwards. He blocked out Abaji to keep him from getting a chance at an offensive rebound.
Both big guys, McCormick and Santos Silva, playing with 3 fouls. Peavy, turnaround, got it.
Is he feeling confident in his first Big 12 game? He is a player, man.
There aren't that many fans in the house, but they are some kind of noisy right now. The lead grows to 7. McCormick spins into the double team, left it short,
and wound up in the corner. He's got to make a quicker move. He can just turn around jumper off the glass, and that should be a relatively easy shot for him.
Edwards using the screen.
Still think that Texas Tech needs to put McCormick in ball screens every possession.
Scoop up no good, tip no good, Kansas ball. Garrett pushing into the chest of Shannon and a foul.
Give McCormick credit there. A terrific rebound and outlet. That started the break. And then a little Euro step by Garrett to pick up the foul and get into the defender. One of the few times Kansas has really gotten anything in transition since early in the first half.
Crowd didn't like the call. Garrett at the line for a couple. That is his 7th point of the night. He's got 9 rebounds in the game. Marcus Garrett is the leading rebounder for either team tonight.
He just does everything, but his offense has been struggling. Everybody's going to play him as a driver. They're going to close out short and force him to shoot it. And right now, he's just not knocking down perimeter shots.
Did a big night in the opening game of the season against Gonzaga. Went 7 for 9. In the opening game, has shot under 30% since then. But again, can help you win in so many different ways as he gets a bit of a breather ahead of the under 8 media timeout.
He did an excellent job against Creighton. He guarded Marcus Zagorowski. Christian Brown did a really nice job on Mitch Ballack.
Boy, Ballack can shoot it though, Hannon.
Yeah, the lefty, he's from Kansas, man. That guy can really shoot it. You give him any space at all. Good play by McCormick to knock that away.
Brown trying to go all the way, and a foul is called.
McClung kind of sold out a little bit. He needed to try to stay in front there instead of go for the steal from behind Brown. That opened up an angle to the basket, and you basically had to foul to keep him from laying it in.
And again, the crowd unhappy with the foul call. Christian Brown at the line for a pair. Coming up Saturday on ESPN2, a couple of really fun college basketball games. Jay and I will be in Madison, Wisconsin. This is well, not the rematch. They couldn't get this game in because Louisville had COVID issues. They rescheduled the game for Saturday. We'll have the Cardinals and the Badgers for you. And then at 2:30 Eastern time, it'll be Purdue and Notre Dame in the Crossroads Classic.
Do we still have the tote board available for the Big Ten ACC Challenge, or are we going to have to? We're going to have to carry the game over to next year's Big Ten ACC. But the winning league starts out with a 1-0 advantage for next year.
Inquiring minds want to know. Shannon, no. Rebound, Brown. Kansas was down 7. They've got it down to 3 with the ball. A chance to tie. And they do. Abaji.
Great pass. And that was punishing bad offense by Texas Tech. They basically had to run half-court offense. That wasn't anything in transition. Took a bad shot. And they wound up getting punished by giving up an open 3.
It's a 7-0 run for the Jayhawks to tie the game at 46. Abaji knocking down the 3. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. This game, and yes, Ian Book as well.
Ian Book, the all-time winningest Notre Dame quarterback. That's hard to believe, isn't it? Real tribute to Ian Book, but I thought it would have been, Joe Montana or somebody like that. It was really surprising.
Let's see how the Red Raiders come out of the timeout. Kansas went into the timeout on a 7-0 run, and Kansas coming out in the zone, Jay.
A little 2-3 zone and going with a little drag up top. Double screen. They just didn't get into it fast enough.
Shannon is fouled by Wilson. And Shannon a little bit shaken up.
Really, the first shot defense for Kansas has been pretty good throughout the game. They've just given up so many second shots. And Bill Self looking for anything that can generate a little bit of offense from the Kansas defense, because their half-court offense hasn't generated much anything outside Ochai Agbaji.
As you can see there at the bottom of your screen, that's the 9th foul committed in the second half by the Jayhawks. The Red Raiders have only committed 4. Texas Tech, one of these teams, they make more free throws than their opponents attempt.
One of the stats that Bob Knight used to preach: make more free throws than your opponents attempt.
Shannon still trying to walk it off a little bit between free throws.
So many of these young players going back to the short shorts look.
Yeah.
I don't think they realize how hard that the Fab Five fought to get a little extra room.
1-point lead for the Red Raiders, 7.5 to go. And a Texas Tech foul.
That's 4 now on Santos Silva. Now, one of the reasons that the Kansas offense has been a little bit better going for round 1 is because McCormick posts so hard. He's looking to find an angle, and that gets Santos Silva out of the ballgame now.
So you got 6'10", 250 McCormick at the moment being guarded by Micah Peavy at 6'7", 215.
And now because of the switch is Amari Burnett, they need to go into him. Give him the ball.
He's working hard to try to get it. Instead, it'll be Harris for 3. How about that? DeJuan Harris knocks down the shot.
Well, I think that was because of McCormick. He's in the ball game. You've got to give him attention, and that opens up things out on the perimeter. The ball moved easier. Just a much better possession. There are going to be games when going small helps Kansas, but they've got the choice. And right now, I think they're a little bit better with McCormick on the floor.
Good recovery there by Brown. Shot clock down to 6. Burnett with a shot fake, and the runner too strong. But it'll be Texas Tech ball.
Now take a look at this ball movement on the offensive end, and they're having to cover up. Everybody, Tyreek Smith, everybody worried about McCormick, trying to help Amari Burnett, and that's what got Harris wide open. Smith was worried. He's trying to help a smaller teammate guard a bigger guy. And so smart move by Bill Self to keep McCormick on the floor.
Shannon back into the game after a brief time on the bench for Texas Tech. McClung using the screen, can't get the shot off.
Good decision to drive it.
Shannon beautifully lays it in to tie the game.
Now that's where you have to punish Kansas for having McCormick on the floor. He switches off onto Shannon. Shannon realized it and drove him left to his strong hand. Big time play by Terrence Shannon Jr.
A touch for McCormick. And an offensive foul.
Referee fell for it again. Look, I'm not saying that there wasn't contact, but not enough contact to go down like that. I still think it's a good call, but you can't reward flops. That's a flop. And the referees fall for it every time. You want to get flopping out of the game? Quit calling the flop.
Number 4 on McCormick, at least for the moment, Jay. He is still on the floor. Well, McClung thought about a deep one. Instead, the dish and the miss for Edwards. Rebound Brown.
Yeah, I like Bill Self leaving McCormick in there. He's an experienced player, but he's got to pass that back out when he's got a guy right behind him if he's not going to make a quick move.
Ochai Agbaji with his 4th 3 of the game.
His best game of the season, and he's had some good ones.
He is 7 for 10, 21 points to lead the way for Kansas. Burnett tries to answer, and it rolls out.
Can't settle for jump shots. One thing that Texas Tech has not done against this zone is drive a gap, make 2 play 1, and then drive to pass.
And the Red Raiders now just 4 for 18 from three-point range.
At the switch, Edwards is on McCormick.
Boy, and an unforced error right there as the Jayhawks give the ball away.
And on the road, you have to take advantage of that. Good job, and talk about driving to pass. Just that one little dribble by Harris, and then he's able to dish it off to Ochai Agbaji. And Agbaji is confident in this game and looking to shoot as soon as he catches it. If the defense takes it away, then you drive.
And Kansas staying in this zone, Jay.
And they should, because so far, Texas Tech has settled for jumpers. They need to get into a gap, drive that gap, make 2 play 1.
McClung for 3. Long rebound belongs to the Jayhawks. Agbaji, and he turns it over. Well, threw it right to Burnett. And out of bounds, still Texas Tech ball. A really good recovery at the defensive end by Agbaji.
And a spectacular block, but Agbaji thought that he was going to turn it over by carrying the ball when he was dribbling down. So he almost carried it and then goes through his legs. That was a terrible pass, but how about that recovery to block that shot? I mean, he got all ball there to save a basket.
McClung with 21 to lead the way for Texas Tech.
One hard dribble into a gap. Yeah, that's what you have to do against the zone. You got to drive it.
Wouldn't go down for McClung. Brown driving it at the other end. Offensive foul.
Boy, anytime you slide under, they're giving it to you. So credit to Texas Tech, but that was not a charge. That was not a charge.
Because he's still moving?
Yeah, he never established legal guarding position. That is a terrible call, and they've been doing it all game long. So for Texas Tech, keep doing it because you're getting the call.
It's a big call, too. Offensive foul instead of a chance for 3.
That's a terrible call. Shannon's open in the middle. Let him have the ball.
McClung. And nothing's fallen from the outside for Texas Tech.
You get it into Shannon, that's probably going to make the defense collapse. Then you can kick it out for a step-in 3. Or if it doesn't collapse, I like the idea of Shannon having the ball in the middle with the chance to attack McCormick.
Red Raiders 1 for 10 from 3 in the second half.
It's been all jump shots.
McCormick blocked by Santos Silva. 3:38 to go. It's the Big 12 opener for 2 of the best teams in the league. And it's tight right down to the finish. For Sacramento, and they drafted former Red Raider Jamias Ramsey in the second round in the recent NBA draft. So all kinds of fun. You see Kyle Guy hit the game winner a couple of nights ago. They celebrated like it was a regular season game.
Yeah, so happy to see Steph Curry back wearing his new Curry 8s, and still heartbroken for Klay Thompson.
Yes.
Just heartbroken. Yeah. What a great guy, great player.
Shot clock at 6 coming out of the timeout. Brown misses the 3. Red Raider basketball down by 3. 3.5 to go.
Boy, got the fade screen for Brown in the corner, but he was fading away from the basket.
McCormick and Brown playing with 4 fouls for Kansas. Santos Silva for Texas Tech. Shannon buries buries the three. What a second half he's having.
He has had a spectacular game.
Up to 17 on the night and 8 rebounds as well.
Kansas looking to turn the corner and get downhill, but they're not getting those slot drives. Nothing straight line.
Wilson's had a quiet night. Drives, cradles, and hits.
Boy, how about that finish? For a guy that has struggled throughout the course of the game. You know, he hit the game winner against Creighton from the right side of the floor off a relocation pass from David McCormack. Now he fouled Marcus Zagorowski at the end of the game, gave him 3 free throws, but that was a big-time play by Jalen Wilson.
McClung gets inside. Too much size from McCormack. Shannon again. And a nice look ahead now from Wilson to Garrett, but he'll pull it back out.
Smart play to bring it back.
Inside 2 minutes in regulation in a 2-point game. Brown looking inside for McCormick, can't get it there. Harris getting crunch time minutes, puts it up, no good. And Shannon has it for Texas Tech.
Yeah, that play was designed to get an angle for McCormack, and he had the angle, but pretty darn good post defense by Santos Silva, especially with 4 fouls. Sticking with the 2-3 zone. And Texas Tech really needs to drive a gap here.
McClung might be the guy to do it. He'll give it up to Edwards. They swing to Shannon. Baseline Burton. Got it! Tie game.
Texas Tech didn't have it on the right side of the floor, so they reversed it, got it along the baseline. And good job by Santos Silva to block off initially David McCormack so he couldn't get all the way to block that shot. And just a fantastic finish off the top of the glass by Jalen Wilson.
54-54. A minute 15 to go. And keeping the Red Raiders in it in the second half, Jay, is Terrence Shannon.
Well, Terrence Shannon, just a sophomore, 6'6" out of Chicago, a lefty who's always been able to drive it, a good cutter, makes good reads, but he's added on a much more consistent and reliable perimeter shot. Now that you have to respect that, then that opens up even more drives, and he's made some tough finishes. Really played at both ends of the floor in this one. You know, Texas Tech, I mean, we haven't made a big deal out of it. They're still playing shorthanded. You know, Kevin McCullough out with an injury, hasn't played at all this year. And last 7-8 games of last year, McCullough might have been their best player.
Hoping to get him back in the next week or two. Shannon came into the game tonight having made 2 threes on the season. He has made 3 of them here tonight.
It's 150% improvement.
I think it's actually a 50% improvement, but I'm not going to argue with you. Stay in your lane, Billis.
Well, now I can see why you spent a lot of Friday nights at home.
That's right. As we said off air before, now you know why I was so popular in high school, kids.
I love math. Just can't do it.
Tied at 54, Kansas ball.
Kansas just didn't get into what they wanted. They wanted a little back pick rescreen for Abaji, just never really got into it.
The drive by Garrett, smothered by Santos Silva. It'll be Kansas ball.
I'm not sure they should have a reset on the shot clock unless I don't think that hit the rim.
No, didn't get close.
Yeah, that should not be a reset. I don't know why it reset. The officials are on it. There was probably 10 seconds or so left on the shot clock.
And maybe 8. Is that what we're looking at right now? Yep, they put it back to 8.
Yeah, good job by the officials to catch that, because that never, the shot clock reset, that never hit anything.
Two-handed block there by Santos Silva. So the shot clock at 8. Kansas to inbound. McCormack. Back to Garrett. Driving and scoring.
But it's a set play, obviously, a little 1-4 set along the baseline. McCormick pops out and then dribbles into a handoff action to Marcus Garrett, and that was a really strong finish to the left.
10 points, 10 rebounds for Garrett tonight. Shannon again. Got it!
What a big-time shot by Terrence Shannon.
Game clock, shot clock, basically bang on. Kansas with the ball down by 1. McCormick with a turnaround. No! Brown flying in for the rebound.
It's off McClung.
Yep.
So it's going to be Kansas ball. Boy, really surprised McCormick didn't throw that ball back out. But Christian Braun may have saved an opportunity to win this game for Kansas with that crash of the offensive glass to keep that ball alive.
Kansas calls timeout. Their ball with 14 seconds left. Let's look at the last 3 plays, beginning with the bucket by Marcus Garrett.
Well, just off the inbounds play, that was a set play. The little handoff action, and then Garrett gets all the way to the basket, finishes going to his left. He's usually more of a right driver. But there's the terrific job by Peavy of driving the gap. That got Marcus Garrett to help a little bit and opened up a little bit of space. But what a great play by Christian Braun to keep that ball alive. And Mac McClung using his head, but it didn't work out.
So it'll be Kansas ball down by 1. 14 seconds to go. The Big 12 conference opener between 2 of the heavyweights in Kansas and Texas Tech. And Jay, I think it's kind of been exactly what we thought would happen and exactly the kind of game we were hoping for tonight.
It was exactly what we were hoping for, but what you expect out of the Big 12 opener. And anytime Kansas and Texas Tech play, you know it's going to be a fist fight, and it has been for 40 minutes, and it's going to come down to execution. Out of bounds underneath, execution on offense for Kansas, and defense in special situations for Texas Tech. You know, the last play, Kansas got exactly what they wanted with that little handoff action to get the ball to Marcus Garrett. They're in a box set here
with 14 seconds remaining in regulation. And do we have a foul going against the Red Raiders?
Yeah,
we do.
They fouled Wilson, it looked like, but it's still going to be out of bounds.
Foul to give, yep.
The question is, do you run the same thing here? Looks like they're switching it up.
Inside to Agbaji to give Kansas the lead.
Boy, ran a little loop action to get the ball to McCormick, and then the second cutter was Agbaji. Beautifully run.
So it comes down to this. Edwards lost it.
Boy, it was a timeout.
The timeout was called. A timeout was called by Chris Beard.
Boy, what a great job. 2 out-of-bounds plays in a row. Kansas out-executes Texas Tech. Watch, they run the first one for McCormick, then the second cutter. Usually it's for a lob to Agbaji, but he was wide open. Just not a good job by Peavy. He was supposed to switch that. And Peavy was just walling up on Jalen Wilson to keep him from getting the ball instead of switching that action.
What are you looking for out of the timeout here for the Red Raiders?
Well, I mean, I'd want to get the ball to the more experienced player, Kyler Edwards, but Terrence Shannon has been so good. You got a lot of different options here, but you don't have to get it right away. You got plenty of time.
Always a chance McClung just tries to take somebody off the dribble too, right?
No question. I mean, you've got a lot of different options. But I think whoever, if you can put quickly, if McCormick's on the floor, put him in a ball screen action and then attack, I like that.
They just added a little bit of time from 5.9 up to 6.2. Ochai Agbaji with 23, including the most important bucket of the night on a feed from Marcus Garrett, who's got 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. McClung and Shannon have been virtually the entire offense for Texas Tech tonight, with the exception of a few minutes early in the second half when it was the Micah Peavy show, but we haven't seen a lot of him lately.
Well, Peavy got it all off of activity.
Yeah.
I mean, the offensive glass, you had a portion of this game where Kansas was getting beat up on the offensive glass. Their first shot defense was pretty good, but they were just turning and looking instead of blocking out. And Texas Tech took advantage of it. But the execution on those 2 straight out of bounds underneath plays, that's really the difference in the game right now. That's 4 points for Kansas.
You know, the Red Raiders have only turned it over 7 times. They've got 13 offensive rebounds for 16 second chance points. If you said to Chris Beard, you're going to do this and you're going to do that, he'd feel pretty good about the situation.
Well, he'd tell you it's going to give you a chance to win.
Yeah.
I mean, their goal is to have 10 turnovers or less, or fewer. I said less, I should say fewer. And they've done that in this game, and they have an opportunity to win.
Peavy to inbound, 6.2 on the game clock. Red Raider ball down by 1. Shannon, who's had a huge second half, blocked by Wilson. Wilson has it, and Kansas wins it. Jalen Wilson with an enormous play at the defensive end in the closing seconds, and the Jayhawks beat the Red Raiders by 1 here in Lubbock.
Jalen Wilson, who had his struggles throughout the course of the game, does a really good job here to stay in front and then put pressure on the shot without fouling. Shannon faded away. That might have been good for a shot fake and go into the defense, but boy, Kansas executing out of bounds both offense and defense late in the game to pull off a road win.
A 58-57 win for Kansas, spoiling the conference home opener for Texas Tech. The Phillips 66 player of the game, Ochai Agbaji, shot it well, knocked down threes, and a game-high 23 to lead the Jayhawks to victory over the Red Raiders here tonight in the first game of, well, there will be a lot of good ones in the Big 12 this season, that's for sure.